Hey guys, I'm Jordan and you're watching Fixbook. After watching this video, your car problems stand about as much a chance as this laptop does against my hot lead. Now, make sure you stay tuned so you can see what happened to the laptop at the end of this video. And as always, don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment down below. Hey guys, and today I'm going to be showing you how to replace a battery in a Chrysler Sebring. Alright guys, and the first thing you'll want to do today is go ahead and get your car lifted up. A good spot to do that is right there, and you can see here it's going to be right there on that strong metal body piece. And then go ahead and place a jack stand right over here, right along the support right here, so in case the car falls, you know it's not going to fall on you. Okay guys, and before you even lift up the car, you may want to go ahead and break loose these lug nuts. You're going to use your 19mm, and also we're going to have this guy right here. You can use a Phillips head. They've broken it off apparently, but we've got the cap, and you can go ahead and take that cap off to expose these nuts. So go ahead and break those lug nuts loose and then go ahead and lift the car. Alright guys, and now I'll just go ahead and take our lug nuts off. And now we'll just go ahead and take that wheel off and set them off here to the side. Alright guys, and the next thing we want to do is we're going to remove this dust shield here. And unfortunately the car I'm working on doesn't have a whole lot of fasteners fastened in. So all I can really show you is we got a Phillips head there and a Phillips head there, and we had some zip ties over here. So just go ahead and remove these two fasteners and then all the other fasteners that are going to run right along over here. So we can pull this whole piece out now. I'm just going to take these fasteners off and I'll show you what it looks like when we just go ahead and pull the whole thing down here. So I'm just going to kind of grab it and we're going to reach around up here. I'm going to reach on back here. Just kind of pull this guy out of the way. And there's our battery. I had to use two hands there for a second, just kind of pull this apart because this piece here is going to go behind your fender. So once you got all that out, we just kind of pull it out and we'll set it off to the side here. And now we can see that battery. Alright guys, and the next thing you'll want to do is take a 13mm socket and ratchet and take this bolt out, and then there's another nut sitting right up here. And then taking this bracket off is the easy part. Putting it back on is the more difficult part. And I'll give you a more in-depth shot or a clip of me doing that, but for just the sake of time and weather, I'm gonna hurry up and finish this video. So you remove that bracket, and remember, in a minute or so, you'll see me putting that thing back on. So just remove this cap here, and we got two 8mm terminal bolts here. You're just gonna go ahead and loosen those up, and then take your power cable off, and then I'll show you how to take the battery out and then put the battery back on in there. Okay guys, and now the next thing we'll do is go ahead and just pull this cap off. We're gonna take a 8mm socket here with a ratchet, and I'm trying to do this just two-handed here. So I'm just gonna take that guy off right there and then come to the other side. Now we've got both our cables removed, and so next thing we'll do is go ahead and work on pulling this battery out. Alright guys, and next thing you'll do is just kind of get these wires out of your way. I got my black wire here, just kind of push them on up, and we're gonna finish taking this bracket off here. We got another fastener here. It's a 13mm nut. It's sitting right up here. So I'm just gonna go ahead with my ratchet and socket and extension here. I'm just gonna get on them and left it loosened. I'm gonna remove them there, but again, unfortunately, due to the poor weather here, I can't only use but my two hands here. I can't set up the camera just because of the weather. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove that fastener, and then I'll get that bracket out of the way, and then I'll show you removing the battery. It's pretty simple once we got all the stuff out of the way. Okay, and I got that nut off, so we'll just go ahead and take the bracket off like that. And now you're just gonna reach in here and kind of pull this guy out. I'm gonna try and do it as best I can with one hand, so that means you'll definitely be able to do it with two hands. So I'm just gonna reach on in here and pull them out, and there we go. So now you're just gonna ease your battery on down, and now we'll go ahead and put our new battery back in there, or in our case, the old battery back in there. Okay, and just to give you a little bit of a technique here, what you can do to kind of help you get your battery in is stick it in sideways and take your power cord. It's going to be all in the way here. Just go ahead and bend it back and stick it in that little corner like how you just saw me have it there, and you can do that. And then now when I have two cans again, I'll be able to pull this stuff around and turn this battery around. That's just a little technique, make it a little bit easier to put your battery in. Alright guys, so now we've got our battery set back in there, and we're just going to go ahead and hook these connectors back up here. Just go ahead and get the terminals threaded in there. And I always like to do, just a general rule of thumb, is I always put the red in first, the negative in second, and of course when you're taking it off, take the negative off first and then the power off second. So I'm just going to go by that same rule here. We'll just get these terminals threaded there. And I'll just take my little wrench here, and not too tight, but just about right like that right there, and just about right like that right there. Just make sure they're good and snug, and there we go. Now we'll go ahead and set that bracket back on there to hold our battery in place, and also put your little connector cover back on. Alright guys, now I got my bracket back in place, and how I did that there was, first I started the top of the bracket up there on that little stud, and then I pulled down and just kind of held down here with my left hand and started that bolt in there with my right hand. So that's how you can get the bracket back on there. You just start from the top and then pull down and get your bolt here started. Now I'm just going to run that bolt in. Oh, there we go, just pop right off. That should be about tight enough. Just make sure you get it nice and snug down. Now I'm just gonna start my top nut here. So I'm gonna take my little nut and just go ahead and start him on up there, and then I'll just run him down as well. There we go. So now our bracket's in there good and tight, and we're gonna go ahead and get this dust shield back on, and we'll get our wheel on, and we're almost on our way to be done with this thing. Alright guys, now we're just gonna work our dust shield back up here, and it's gonna fit in just the same way you took it out. So we're gonna reach on up in here, and let's see, it's gonna fit in there something like that, and we'll begin working all of our fasteners back in there. I'll start just down here at the bottom too. We got the screw. I'm gonna work them in there, and then once you get all your fasteners tightened back in, that'll be setting up good, and then we'll go to put our wheel back on. Okay, and I went ahead and got my wheel back on here, and guys, it's always not a bad idea to just put some anti-seize on here, especially if you're a do-it-yourselfer, because what happens over the course of time is basically when you use a breaker bar and crossbar to take your wheels off, your studs and lug nuts can really take a beating. So if you're a do-it-yourselfer, get you a can of anti-seize like this right here, or an equivalent. It doesn't have to be by Permatex. I don't know if anyone sells it, but just anti-seize works great to keep your studs and lug nuts in good condition, so you don't have to replace a stud later on down the road. Now I'll just go ahead and put these lug nuts on, and you're pretty much ready to be done with the project and get moving on down the road. Alright guys, well that pretty much sums up today's video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching guys, and don't forget to subscribe so you can catch all my new videos, which publish Mondays and Fridays at 9 a.m. Pacific Time, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, 11 a.m. Central Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, and I will see you then. Alright guys, and here's what it's going to sound like when it's running on just 2 cylinders. Okay guys, so this is the test drive for the 2-cylinder Civic. And it's riding a little rough, but that's what you can expect from just 2 cylinders. Well, it looks like that's about as good as I'm going to do, is get up to 50 miles an hour. So apparently we can't do a highway driving with just 2 cylinders. We'd have to choose a 3-cylinder option if you want to travel on highways. Alright guys, so here I am one last time. We're going to try and get it back up to speed here. I'm going to try and do it a little bit faster this time. We're already up to 20. already up to 30. I mean, there's a price to pay for good gas mileage.